As a former federal prosecutor and United States attorney, I am a strong believer that an investment in reentry is one of the most effective investments our nation can make in public safety. So we, as prosecutors, as individuals involved in the criminal justice system, have known for a long time that simply releasing people from prisons and jails with a bus token and a new pair of jeans, mostly to homeless shelters, is simply not the way to end a revolving door in our criminal justice system. The Second Chance Act was really a bold statement that we as a nation can reduce recidivism, crime, and victimization by supporting smart, evidence-based reentry strategies and programs. Since passage of the Second Chance Act, we at the Bureau of Justice Assistance and our partner at the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Planning have awarded nearly 500 Second Chance Act grants. You're going to hear about one or two of our grants today. Over $250 million, which have provided reentry services to over 24,000 program participants, providing needed services targeted at individuals at high risk of recidivism.
As recently as 15 years ago, I would drive by one of our maximum security institutions on my way to work. It was the time when inmates were being released from sentence. And I would see a dozen of them sitting on this stone wall outside Maximum with these dark garbage bags containing all their worldly goods accumulated over the years, looking for all the world like they had no idea what was going to happen next. And I would think to myself, this does not feel good. Those days are changing, and the Second Chance Act has been a very powerful catalyst for altering that picture. Because at the end of the day, our ability in corrections to provide public safety, while a passionate part of our mission, really does depend on buy-in. That's where our offenders are going to spend most of their time, is in the community. And we need to be supporting those communities in their programs to reintegrate offenders. So in essence, what you've seen through the Second Chance Act, or what we've seen through the Second Chance Act, and what I'm eager to tell you, is really a great turning of the wheel in our profession, not only in Rhode Island, but for all the states. We are finally getting past running safe, secure, orderly, constitutional prisons. Those are bedrock, but if we really care to claim our public safety mission, we really need the opportunities provided by the Second Chance Act to take advantage of that time of incarceration and to assure a smooth transition when the rubber meets the road upon release.
It has never been a better time to engage collaboration at the local level as it relates to offenders coming home than it has been over the last couple of years. To me, it's the excitement in this profession. Reentry is the most exciting concept to engage the profession of corrections, most likely in the last generation.
I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about one of the things that TASC has been doing with regards to reentry. Just to give you a sense, I run an organization in the state of Illinois that is statewide. We've been around since 1976, focusing on issues of criminal justice, addiction, the courts, corrections, probation, parole. And so we've had a lot of opportunity to see some things come and go. And Second Chance is really important to, I think, changing the conversation, as you've heard people talk about today. And I really encourage you all to take the lessons you're learning today and go forward with support for Second Chance. 50 women have completed the program. They're in there for around 2 years. So around 50 women have completed, and 1 has recidivated. 2% recidivism rate. They go back to community. They raise their other children. They are engaged. They're getting treatment support and reentry support. It doesn't matter where they go in the state. We follow them and ensure that they have wraparound services and support in order to continue to bond with their children, in order to continue to raise their children, to remain drug-free. And it's working.
Reentry is, of course, a public safety issue, but it's not only a public safety issue. It's an employment issue. 2 of 3 of the men who become incarcerated were working prior to incarceration. As a result of incarceration, obviously, they stop working, and often it is very difficult for them to get employment upon release. It is a public health issue. Very many of the individuals who end up being incarcerated end up carrying communicable diseases. It is a housing issue. Homelessness is clearly associated with a higher risk of incarceration. And it's an education issue. Of the 20 fastest growing occupations right now in the United States, 13 of them require post-secondary education. Yet very few folks who are incarcerated have the appropriate education to be able to make it upon return. In terms of the National Reentry Resource Center, our job, among other things, is to provide technical assistance to grantees, but it's also to be able to work with experts around the country to gather the data, to gather the research, and to be able to put it out in formats that are helpful to folks in the community. To that end, we have developed many publications, just one of which is shown up here, a 10-step guide to effective probation. We do routine webinars practically every other week, in fact, and we store them on our website, so you can go to the justicecenter.org website and you can find webinars on a variety of reentry topics going back for several years. We are developing, or have developed, what's called the What Works in Reentry Clearinghouse, and this is also live, and what it basically is a summary of the research that talks about what works in reentry. And we have several parts of that up live already, and over the next few months we will be populating other sections so that ultimately by topic, employment, housing, mental health, substance abuse, you'll be able to go to each of those topics and look at what does work in those areas that help improve outcomes for reentry, lower recidivism, and include positive outcomes. And finally, we have a number of frequently asked questions documents also up on the website.
Reentry is becoming more and more of an understandable issue. That is, more and more people are beginning to understand the impact of it and what it actually means. We've just got to keep working, got to keep it in front of people and help people to know that it's not really just about people who are called ex-offenders, but it's about America. It's about all of us, and to the extent that they become productive citizens, that's the extent to which our country continues to grow, develop, and flourish.